come to realize that one of the major challenges that we face as immigrants is how we can raise our children to preserve our culture, so they are aware of our culture, and at the same time be able to follow the parental norms that we find here in a foreign country. So for a lot of us Africans, Asians that have migrated to Canada, you find that the cultural norms and how they parent here is quite different from the way we do it back home. And that kind of has a way in affecting how we raise our children. So today we're going to be talking on how we can navigate these issues and make sure that we're preserving our cultures and at the same time having children that are respectful and emotionally grounded in this new terrain. If you're seeing my face for the first time, hi, my name is Obehi. I'm a registered social worker and an immigrant here in Canada. I live here with my family, and on this channel, what I do is share my ideas as a social worker. I also share some lifestyle content, some vlogs here and there. And if this is something that you like, please do all to stick around, subscribe to the channel, leave on your post notifications so whenever I post a video, you'll be the first to know. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into today's video. So first off, let's talk about the parenting style. Now, back home in Africa, most of us are raised to follow instructions. Just do whatever they tell you. You don't have a right to think. Your opinions are not regarded. Nobody wants to know what you have to say. They will just tell you, do, and all you do is follow. So it's quite different from where we are here. Like here, children are raised to be independent, to be able to think, to, be able to share their opinions and not to be timid. And we find that when we come here, we tend to believe that children are disrespectful, but that's not the case. They're just being, open-minded and being able to share their opinions. They're allowed to express themselves. A lot of us find it very difficult to adapt to this new culture. You're not used to it, It's not something that you're used to. I remember those days when I was younger, my father would make decisions without even thinking about how I feel. Like, I didn't like to travel. Traveling was not something I liked because whenever I go on trips, I will puke a lot. Like, I will vomit my lungs out. So whenever it's time to go to church or travel, I dread it. I don't like it. But who am I to tell my father that I don't want to go to church or I don't want to go anywhere? Now, they would think that when you say you don't want to go to church, it's because you don't just want to go, you're a bad child. But that's not the case for me. I just didn't like to go to church because I didn't like the long drive. We know that in Lagos, Nigeria, there's always traffic. And the traffic alone, I would have vomited like 3-4 times before I get to church. That kind of a thing. So I'm not interested in going to church. It's not like because I'm disrespectful. But you find that here, parents are able to listen to their children, hear the reason why they don't want to do things, and then look for ways to mitigate it or to find alternatives that can help the children, still follow the rules that are being given. So yeah, that's one thing that I find that we struggle with. We struggle with understanding the fact that children have opinions here and that you are supposed to listen to their opinions. So basically, I know that things are changing with a lot of social media now and a lot of information out there. Parents are beginning to use a more supportive approach in raising their children than the authoritarian approach of raising children. Parents are beginning to change their ways. One thing that I know that people are beginning to see and people don't want to come to happen to them, people don't want to have issues with, is child protection. Now, children welfare. In our home, back home in Africa, people don't see anything wrong with spanking their child. They will beat their child if their child does something wrong. That's something that if your parents are not doing, people will say, oh, your parents don't love you, that's why they're not spanking you, and things like that. That's how I know it. That's what I have known since when I was young. But right now, people are beginning to change. But here in Canada, if you spank your child and there's a visible mark on your child's body, that is a child protection concern, and you might go to jail for that. That is true. You might go to jail for that. So that doesn't mean that when child protection comes to your house, you're in trouble. Sometimes they're just coming to do some investigation to figure out what is going on. So if you are not, if a child protection or a social worker comes into your house, that does not mean that they're going to take your child away from you. No, that's not the case. They are going to do some investigation, find out if there's food in the house, find out if you're taking care of your child, find out if you are, if they have the basic necessities that they need. Don't be surprised if they open your fridge, open your cupboards to see if there's food there. Don't be surprised if they go up to your child's room to see if there's a bed there or there are toys there. That is just the procedure. So that doesn't mean that you're in trouble. To prevent these child protection issues, like having issues with children welfare, the best thing to do is to be able to set clear boundaries using more positive approaches in raising your children. For example, if your child does something wrong to you, you can give them timeouts. Just tell them to go and reflect on what they've done. Or you can do some things like, sometimes what I do is I kind of give them consequences. One of the consequences that I give my children are things that are realistic, that I'm ready to follow through with. I will not give them a consequence that I'm not ready to follow through with. For example, if you take your child to the store and your child is throwing tantrums and throwing things around, and you be like, you say, I won't bring you here again. You know that is a lie, because you still have to go to the grocery store. You don't have anybody to take care of them, so you will still bring them to the grocery store, right? But if you say something like, because you have been naughty in the store today, I'm going to make sure that when you get home, probably you don't get to watch TV, or you're not having your tab today, things that you can follow through with. Sometimes for me, I will tell my child that you will not go to extracurricular activity. I do that. And I do that because I know that they love it. It's something that they're really interested in. They always want to go, and they don't want to be deprived of that. So that helps them to put their bad behaviors away. Another thing we can do is we can incorporate our culture while raising our children. For example, as Africans, especially Yorubas, you are taught to greet when you see an elder. You have to greet. There's no two ways about it. So you can continue to use those as ways to teach your children. When you see somebody, say, can you greet? If you don't want them to say hi, you can tell them to say good afternoon, good morning. Teach them to greet. There's nothing wrong with that. Teach them our culture. Those things that you hold as values, you can still teach them, but you can, and if they are not doing it, you can teach them in a positive way. Instead of using the normal African way that we know we use, you can use more positive ways. So share with me in the comment section what you feel about the parenting style here. Do you agree with the fact that children can have opinions and they can share their opinions? Some people will tell you that, no, I'm the one that makes all the decisions. Some people, because they are trying to, avoid child protection concern, they don't have any rules, no boundaries. They just leave the child to do whatever they like, because they will say, oh, I don't want child protection, wahala, I don't want them to come and carry you away from me, I don't want my children to be in the system. So they will not even do anything to make sure that they are, training the children. A lot of people will tell you that, let me not tell the child to go and watch video. They will say, oh, I'm maltreating the child. That's not the way it works. You still have to parent your child. You have to be in their lives. You have to kind of listen to them, teach them to be respectful, create clear boundaries. If your child does something wrong, you can talk to the child. You don't need to beat a child for the child to listen to you. You can talk to them. Some people will say, oh, or is a small child, it doesn't understand. That's not true. Children understand you. If you talk to them, they would understand you. Now, I'm also learning, right? I am learning every day. But these are some of the things that I've used over time that actually works for me. When I was a novice, that I didn't know much about parenting, I was using a different parenting style. But right now, since adopting this parenting style, where I try to talk to the children, listen to their reasons for doing what they are doing, and give them better ways to do it. Children are young, they are still forming their brains, forming their ideas. They really don't understand. So especially when you have children that are normal children that don't have challenging behaviors, or they don't have a mental health illness or any diagnosis, that you're just raising normal children. Children can be difficult to raise. I tell you, they will test you, they will try you. But you being able to create boundaries and being in their life, you are being a backbone parent. So basically, I just want you to share in this comment section what are the things that you find are challenging for you as a parent here in diaspora. I've met a couple of Canadians, Canadian born people who have teenagers, and their teenagers are doing perfectly well. There's this particular person I know, her child is 16, and when I was talking to her, I'm like, so how were you able to raise your daughter till she's 16, and she's just the best girl, no bad attitudes, she's very respectful, she would greet you when she sees you. I'm like, how were you able to achieve that? And guess what she told me? She said when her daughter was 13, she put her in a lot of activities so that she doesn't have free time to be doing rubbish around. So it was so much work for her to be taking her to basketball, baseball, be taking her for dance, things like that. It was so much work for her. It was so expensive. But she said she had to do that sacrifice because she knows that once the girl is busy, she won't be able to go around, spending time on frivolities and, unnecessary things. So yeah, and I took that up. I'm like, that's a very good one. That's a very good idea. That's something that I also plan on doing. It might not work for everybody, but I will try it. And the thing with parenting is that you keep trying. You will try some things, you will fail. You will try something else, you will fail. Please share in the comment section if you agree with me that parenting is actually a trial and error. We all learn to unlearn things. You learn and then you unlearn things. So yeah, so basically I know that I've seen a lot of people who say, oh, raising children here is difficult. I don't scold my children. I don't talk to my children at all. I leave them to do whatever they want because I don't want child protection wahala. I don't want them to come and take the children away from me. So yeah, this is a challenge that we as immigrants have. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Just tell me the things that you're doing to, keep your children culturally inclined and also still adhering to the parental norms that are here in Canada. I would like to read from you. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for today. If you have any questions for me, if you want to understand more about child protection, you can ask me your specific questions in the comment section. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you for tuning in again today. And till we see you again in my next one. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.